Hello everyone. We're gathered here today to talk about two new target types which will be showing up on the Storm of War DCS World War II server. These target types are reconnaissance targets. They will not be present on every mission, but you will see them now and then, and I thought it would be worthwhile clarifying what these targets are and how you can complete them. There are two types of reconnaissance targets. The first is the visual recon target, or the visual recon objective, and the second is a photo reconnaissance target. I'm going to describe each in turn, and then I'm going to show you how you can carry out these mission objectives. So first, let's look at the visual recon objective. As you would expect, a visual recon target is a target where you have to fly over the target and then visually observe it. In order to tell if the mission you are in has a visual recon target, all you need to do is consult the briefing. Let's bring up the briefing then for this mission. I'm flying on the Allied side, and scrolling down through the target objectives, you will see the visual recon targets listed. This section of the briefing will tell you exactly what you need to do to find and to complete this objective. As you can see from this briefing, there are three visual recon targets. If you use the communications menu, which I've got up in the top right hand corner of the screen, and click on the F10 other option, you'll see if the recon targets have already been completed or if they still need to be completed. As you can see, the F4, F5 and F6 rows here say that recon target 1 needs a flyover, recon target 2 needs a flyover, and so does recon target 3. So all of those targets are yet to be completed. We'll go back to the briefing then, and I'll look at recon target 1. So this is as follows. French resistance claimed to have blown up a railway bridge just west of Fels at 48 degrees 34 minutes north, 0 degrees 43 minutes west. We're to find the bridge and conduct a low-level flypast to observe any damage or the presence of repair crews. One of the recon aircraft at either Saint-Pierre-du-Mont or Saint-Laurent-sur-Mer must be used for this task. And as you can see, each of these recon targets can only be completed by the recon aircraft. So what I need to do is I need to grab one of those recon aircraft from those specific airfields and fly to this location. So looking at the slot options then, Saint-Pierre-du-Mont, there were some there, and Saint-Laurent-sur-Mer. I'm just going to scroll down, and here we go. Down the bottom of the list, you can see these recon positions, recon PR 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So I can take any of those aircraft, and here I've jumped in one of the Mustang recon aircraft at Saint-Pierre-du-Mont, and now I have to fly down to the recon objective and conduct a low-level flyover of the target. I've now navigated my way to the target, and it's just up here where this smoke is. This is the damaged bridge. So I'm going to stay as low as I possibly can and fly directly over this to make the visual observation. You can see the bridge is still burning, and it looks like there are some vehicles parked nearby. So I'm just going to make my flyover. Some vehicles there, and you'll see that a message has popped up now in the top right hand corner of the screen, which says Recon pilot reports successful visual observation of recon target 1, mission objectives updated. And now if I go to the F10 menu, you'll now see that recon target 1 is complete. So that is how you find and complete the visual recon target objectives. We will now look at the photo reconnaissance objectives, which are slightly different. Now we can take a look at photo reconnaissance targets. If you see in the mission briefing mention of a photo recon target, then you obviously have such a target that you can complete. For these, you typically have to conduct high altitude flights over specific locations. And for this mission, we are required to conduct a high altitude recon flight over Azeville airfield, and there's the grid reference as well. And in order to complete photo recon objectives, you have a slightly different set of instructions. So in this case, we have to use one of the Recon aircraft which are available at Auros airfield. So I'm flying on the Luftwaffe side this time, by the way. And then we are to fly over the target between 5,500 meters and 6,000 meters altitude above sea level. And the camera of the aircraft is set to focus at 5750, so as close to 5750 as possible. We have to be flying in level flight for the camera to work. That means not descending or climbing rapidly. Then, once we have taken the photo, we have to return the photo recon aircraft back to the Auros airfield, and we have to taxi it to the intelligence tent, at which point the photo will be delivered to the intelligence officers. So this is quite a bit more complicated than a visual recon target. We have to go and take a photo, and then we have to bring the photo back to the intelligence teams. So we're going to spawn now in one of the aircraft at Auros. And looking at the aircraft set, you can see down the bottom here, we've got R1, R2, and Recon 3 and Recon 4. These are the Recon slots here. I'm going to take one of the Antons. That's Recon aircraft number 3. So I've spawned in at Auros, and looking just over there, you can see the tent with the vehicles and the little white flags sitting inside tires next to it. That is the Recon tent, or the intelligence officer's tent. That's where I'm going to have to bring the photo back to once the photo has been taken. Going to get airborne now, and we're going to fly to the target, which is Azeville airfield. Azeville airfield is up here. That's Azeville airfield. So we need to fly over that airfield between 5,500 and 6,500 meters in approximately level flight. As you can see, I'm just at 6,000 meters now on my altimeter, and I'm almost exactly over Azeville airfield, and I'm trying to hold this aircraft in about as close to level flight as I can on what I think is a heading that's going to take me directly over Azeville airfield. Now obviously at this altitude it's very hard to tell exactly where you are, so you may need to fly a grid pattern over the target until you trigger the photograph. I'm fairly confident that I'm on the right course here, and now you can see top right hand corner, Recon photo has successfully been taken of target 1. The Recon aircraft is now returning to base at Auros. And just to confirm on the mission objectives, you can see that Photo Recon 1 is still active. So I have not completed the objective simply by taking the photo. I need to get back to base, land at Auros, and stop the aircraft in front of the intelligence tent. So let's go do that now. Here is Auros airfield then. I've got the photo still on board, just lining up to try and land here, bringing this precious cargo home and hoping that I don't stack it, in which case I'd have to go back and refly the entire sortie. So I'm going to try and line up on that runway there and keep it in sight as long as possible. And then once I'm down, assuming I make it down safely, I'm going to taxi over to the intelligence tent at the far end of the field. So let's just see if we can get this machine down here safely. Okay, there we are, wheels down, and just applying a bit of brakes. Now you can see the intelligence tent off to the right, And I have to come to a halt next to it. So I'm going to taxi past it first with some airspeed, or with some ground speed and airspeed, and it should not trigger the mission complete. So I'm going to taxi up onto the grass, then just go past the tent at a bit of a canter. So here we are, just taxiing past now, and you can see nothing has changed. So now I'm going to turn back and bring the aircraft to a halt just on the grass in front of the tent. Here should do. And there you can see, top right hand corner of the screen, the Recon photo for target 1 has successfully been handed over to intelligence with a spelling mistake, and we will now just quickly check photo Recon 1 has been complete. The system can track up to 4 photo Recon aircraft, so if you get to the target, you take your photo, but if you get destroyed on the way home, then obviously you will not complete the objective. But if someone else is still carrying a photo and they manage to make it home, then the objective will be complete. So the mission is tracking all 4 Recon aircraft independently, and 1 aircraft has to take a photo and bring its photo back, and at that point the objective will be complete. If you take off, you take a photo and then you die, you can't just respawn your aircraft and taxi it over to the tent. It will know that you do not have a photo on board. So hopefully the system cannot be gamed. However, knowing how people play computer games, I'm sure someone will figure out a way around it. But for now, that is how you complete the photo reconnaissance objectives on the Storm of War server. And before we showed you how to do the visual reconnaissance objectives. There we go. For players who like to do meaningful tasks but aren't necessarily so keen on combat, or perhaps if you are keen on combat but you want to do something else on the way, then grab one of the Recon aircraft and try one of the reconnaissance objectives.